Yo, what's up guys, it's NLW here, back again with another video, this time an action figure career retrospective of the Universal title reigns of the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. This setup was requested by Young Pack Forever over on Patreon. If you would like to request your very own figure setup for me to make, head over to my Patreon, the link is in the description. Now, when he first won the championship, I was kind of intrigued. However, he was gone for quite a while, came back and only had a couple of good matches, but the matches at SummerSlam, the match he had against Roman Reigns the second time I believe, and maybe the match against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam were just matches that stick out in my mind as being good championship matches. But I'll stop waffling, we'll get into this figure setup right now, starting with Lesnar's first Universal Championship reign, beating Goldberg at WrestleMania 33, and this was probably one of my favourite Goldberg matches ever. It was spamming finishes, it was brutal, it was intense, it was over in a matter of minutes. Lesnar is the champion, it was exactly what it needed to be, and I was excited, you know, Goldberg versus Lesnar. A lot of people were sleeping on it heading into Mania, but it over-delivered in my opinion. Great match to start the reign of Brock Lesnar. But we wouldn't see him on TV for a few months after this, and Raw kind of suffered as a result of it. I kind of tuned out of the product in 2017, to be honest. But Samoa Joe won the #1 contendership, had a title match against Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire. Stupid name. But regardless of the name of the pay-per-view, the match I thought delivered. It was short, it was what it needed to be. I thought maybe Joe could have got a bit more offense in. It was a bit similar with the Suplex City kind of matches, but Brock Lesnar came out victorious. However, this would lead to one of my favourite matches of all time, and I'm only saying that because I was there live to witness it. I was at ringside for the carnage that was the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam. Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe all trying to take the title from Brock Lesnar, and I remember there were rumours that Lesnar was going to leave at this time, but he got put through the announce table, went away, came back later, and I've rewatched this match since. It is a classic. Go and check it out if you haven't already. But Lesnar, Roman was getting mercilessly booed as he was at the time. Joe, though, I was fully behind him, and Braun probably peaked in popularity along this time. Probably should have won the title, but that's just the power of hindsight. Anyway, Lesnar finally pinned. I think it was going to be Samoa Joe or Roman Reigns, I'm not quite sure, but Lesnar walked out of SummerSlam still Universal Champion, went on to No Mercy and faced Braun Strowman in quite a disappointing match, to be very honest. I thought Strowman could have looked a bit stronger in that matchup, especially considering he was riding a wave of momentum at the time, but Lesnar, you know, just had to beat him there and then. Then we come on to Survivor Series 2017 in one of my favourite Lesnar matches of all time against the phenomenal AJ Styles. What could have been with Brock versus Jinder, but no, we got Brock versus AJ, and it was fantastic. AJ looked like $1 million in there with Lesnar. Lesnar, you know, he really does enjoy being in the ring with those smaller guys, because you've seen it against AJ, and then you saw it the year after, but I'll get to that in a moment. The Royal Rumble, this time featuring Kane as well, and again, the match, it wasn't that great. It had a couple of cool spots in it with the tables and the chairs, and I do remember one spot where Braun Strowman took a stiff punch to the side of the skull by Lesnar, who really wasn't messing about in that matchup. And, you know, it was kind of lackluster, but it was what it was. And then we move on to WrestleMania, another event where I was live for, and I have to say, I hate this match, or at least I hated this match. Perhaps I was too hard on it in the past. Being there live, you're in the arena for like 6 hours, 8 hours at a time, and to be honest, at the end of the show, everyone just wants to go home. I thought it was a formality that Reigns was going to win and it was just going to be too predictable, but no, they swerved us. And why did they swerve us? Roman just should have won, I think, at the time. There was no reason to have Lesnar win that one, but they extended it further. They had a cage match in Saudi Arabia, and then we wouldn't see Brock for ages until SummerSlam, where Roman Reigns finally beat Lesnar. Cathartic to see, Reigns winning the Universal title finally at least, but sadly he would go away for his cancer treatment, and Lesnar had to come back in, beat Braun Strowman at Saudi Arabia, crown jewel to take the title back, and it seemed like we were just spinning wheels at that point. Then Survivor Series rolls around and we get Lesnar versus, well, we think it's going to be AJ Styles, and then it turns out it is Daniel Bryan, and somehow this match was even better than the year before. Bryan had just turned heel, so he was showing a more vicious side, stomping in the skull of Lesnar. Ultimately, Lesnar was able to win, but just an incredible champion versus champion matchup. I'd love to see one nowadays with this much intensity. Great stuff. Also great stuff was the Royal Rumble match with Finn Balor challenging Brock Lesnar. Finn Balor was the underdog in this one. Vince McMahon was putting him down, saying he didn't have it, didn't have any beef, but he proved a lot of people wrong. and he took the fight to Lesnar in a big way. There was a point where I thought maybe, just maybe, Finn would win it, but no. They kind of telegraphed it on commentary, which sucked, and then he got beaten down after, so I guess that's Finn done for the world title picture. And that leads us on to WrestleMania, probably one of the most shocking results of all time. Seth Rollins hitting the curb stomp on Brock Lesnar, winning in just 3 minutes to open the show. That was shocking as it was. Seth Rollins at the time, mega babyface. He stands tall as the new Universal Champion, and thus ends the second reign of Lesnar's Universal Championship story. But it would not be long before we saw Lesnar hold the championship again, because he won Money in the Bank somehow under shady circumstances, cashed it in Extreme Rules to beat Seth Rollins, held the title for only about a month, and his third reign was cut short once again, this time a more thrilling match at SummerSlam, a lengthy main event. Beating the Beast did Seth Rollins to reclaim the Universal Championship. And as for Brock Lesnar in the Universal Championship, this was pretty much it for him. A couple months down the line, he'd beat Kofi in 8 seconds to win the WWE Championship, then go on to lose the title at WrestleMania to Drew McIntyre, but that is another story for another day. Overall, his Universal Championship reigns, they were historic. I think the first one started off incredibly well, but kind of tapered towards the end when he was facing the likes of Strowman in disappointing matches, Roman Reigns again and again. But the match against Samoa Joe, the Fatal 4-Way at SummerSlam, were great. The matches he had at the Survivor Series against AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, they were both fantastic. And I feel like the last 2 years of Lesnar, much better than his first few. Even in defeat, putting over AJ, Finn, Bryan, Roman, Rollins, all of these guys having much better matches. Maybe people will disagree with this, but I hope he comes back for another match down the line. But that is it for this action figure setup. Thank you once again to Young Pack Forever for suggesting this figure setup. If you'd like to suggest your own or suggest a match for me to make, head over to my Patreon. The link is in the description. If you like this video, smash that like button, and also if you're not yet subscribed, smash that subscribe button as we're trying to edge closer to 30,000 subs, and turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. Comment below what is your favourite Brock Lesnar match, and also comment what you thought of his Universal title reigns. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys later.